Tonight on CTV News, an outbreak of Legionella has health officials on high alert. Another insurance company is under fire from angry customers, and high winds fan another fire.
Broadcasting across Canterbury from the CTV studio, this is First at 5.
Good evening and welcome to CTV News, broadcasting and streaming live on ctv.co.nz. An outbreak of Legionella in the Hillsborough area has health authorities on high alert. 6 people are already in hospital. Chelsea Daniels has that story.
The Canterbury District Health Board have identified an outbreak of Legionnaire's disease in an industrial area in Hillsborough. Since the beginning of April, 6 cases of Legionnaire's disease have been linked to the area. The specific bacteria contracted in these cases is a type typically found in water-based cooling systems. Canterbury Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Raymond Pink, is urging businesses in the area to sample and treat their cooling towers and evaporative condensers.
We have been working with key partners and stakeholders to encourage the industry to test and to treat cooling towers. So we've been working with WorkSafe New Zealand, with City Council and also our industry colleagues to encourage the industry cooling towers to be tested and to be treated.
Roger Wyatt, Service Manager at BT Air Conditioning, agrees and says that the lack of regulation of cooling systems means that businesses need to be cautious.
There's a lot of reliance on people to treat their mechanical equipment with respect. And like any piece of machinery, if you don't operate it properly, then it's going to have a flow-on effect regardless of whether it's water treatment or anything else.
This year, Canterbury have reported 18 cases of Legionnaire's disease, which Pink says is not uncommon. However, Pink said the latest cases were unseasonal, with the disease usually surfacing through potting mix and gardening activities in summertime. All cases ranged in age from 49 to 79 and all have links to the area. It is said that the over 50 age demographic are more at risk of the disease. But do the public living in the Hillsborough area have any reason to be alarmed?
For those who are more at risk, for the demographic that I mentioned, I still think the risk would be exceptionally low. I think it'd be more there'd be more danger driving your car than it would be of getting Legionella's disease.
One contaminated tower was found on April 8th and was immediately treated. The patients have since been discharged from hospital, with their stay lasting no longer than 6 days. However, 2 more cases were discovered in May, indicating another possible source.
The 2 cases that occurred in May occurred after the cooling tower had treated. So the implicit in that is, did the original cooling tower seed another cooling tower or 2 cooling towers in the area, or vice versa? We don't know.
Why weren't the public notified of the outbreak when the cases were first reported 2 months ago?
There's always a balance between trying to inform the public, but also not to cause anxiety that's unnecessary. And that's a call we've made, and I'm happy with that call.
He says home air conditioners and heat pumps, as well as vehicle air conditioners, are not a source of the Legionella bacteria. Symptoms of Legionnaire's disease include influenza-like symptoms, a fever, muscle aches and a headache. If you are concerned or are displaying these symptoms, he says please contact your general practice team. Chelsea Daniels, CTV News.
Another large insurer is being targeted by a class action, and this time it's IAG who's in the firing line. A Springston resident is behind the move, and so far 200 upset customers have signed up.
An earthquake-damaged property homeowner is taking a stand, wanting to start a class action against insurer IAG. Pip Corey, who lives in Springston, south of Christchurch, has set up a Facebook group, IAG Class Action Lawsuit, to try and get other disgruntled policyholders with the insurer, still wanting a fair deal towards their earthquake-stricken homes. IAG is the largest insurer in the country, having ties with other companies such as NZI, AMI and State Insurance. The group has already gained over 200 members on Facebook and has already posted this video on YouTube, urging other policyholders to stand together in court to get a resolution for their homes, nearly 5 years on from the first Canterbury earthquake. This follows another class action that is well underway, with Grant Cameron leading the charge against government-owned Southern Response. An Australian-based litigation team have jumped on board, providing a no-win, no-fee court action, meaning if the case fails in court, the policyholders won't have to pay a cent in legal costs. That's all taken care of. Nearly 200 claim holders have already registered, with a meeting due to be held next Tuesday at the Transitional Cathedral. Southern Response customers unhappy with their claims and want to join the action will only have a couple of weeks to make their minds up if they want to take their case to court.
High winds have fanned yet another Canterbury wildfire, this time in South Canterbury. Firefighters have spent most of the day fighting a 10-hectare forest fire on Backline Road near Waimate. 6 tankers, 6 fire engines and 2 helicopters were called to fight the blaze, which started at 7 a.m. this morning on farmland before spreading to adjacent forestry block. Most of the fire was brought under control this afternoon, but firefighters remain on site dampening down hotspots. Well, what will happen to the council's assets? That's a question on many of the minds of many Christchurch residents as the long-term plan continues through its final stage before being publicly released. But the Mayor explains more today on what she believes should happen.
So just what assets will be on the table when council discusses sales later this month? It's been a changeable feast as it grapples to find around $750 million to help pay for its financial woes. But Christchurch Mayor Leanne Dalzell believes it could be a lot less. Last week, the Mayor made it clear what she would like to see happen to get the council's books back in the black. Some of these options include rates. However, she also talked about the city's assets, wanting Orion, the port and the airport to remain as strategic assets, and she wants EcoCentral included too.
We all oppose selling community assets built up over years of public investment to bidders who are prepared to contribute nothing but cash to the community that invested in developing those assets. It's cold comfort when the benefit of the cash has disappeared.
As for the other assets on the current list, the Mayor is suggesting to say bye-bye to the following council-owned ventures, saying they're not necessary for both strategic reasons and the well-being of the community. Some include City Care, Red Bus and Horncastle Arena. Lancaster Park is uncertain at the moment. They're still fighting insurance claims. She also wants to sell all off-street parking. But she says it'll take time to work out what is strategic and what is not.
People who came to the hearings and said, we don't want you to sell anything. And we said, well, you know, is a bus company the same as the Ryan, which is our lines company? And actually people said, no, it's not. So I think that when people think things through, they understand that there are some things that, you know, a council's built up over the years, and they have a very strategic place, not only in our city, but actually in our region when you look at the ports as well, the airport and the seaport.
And that's where the smaller assets come in. One of the examples the Mayor gave was around the council-owned City Care, which she classes as not being a strategic asset.
We're required to set up a contracting company. That's a historic change in the legislation that required councils to set up a separate company in order to do their work. And you know, City Care competes for work with other contracting companies. City Care provides services in other cities, you know, so is it strategic in terms of its ownership in Christchurch? I don't think so.
It's something all the other assets will go through to work out what the local body will keep or send packing. But it's not something they can just sell, it needs to go through a process.
The only issue around strategic assets, if that is accepted by the council, that strategic assets have to go through a special consultative procedure if they are to have any of their share ownership affected by a process.
The final long-term plan will go back for discussion in the council chamber in the next few weeks, with decisions at the end of the month. Jared McCulloch, CTV News.
And still to come here on CTV News, people come out to support Blood Week. And welcome back to CTV News. The liquidation of a development company which built the Pegasus township is now complete, but investors are out of pocket by hundreds of millions of dollars and they won't see that money again.
A range of companies are now officially out of pocket to the tune of $100 million following the end of a liquidation proceedings against Pegasus Town Limited. The now defunct company behind the development of the Pegasus township near Kaiapoi was deregistered this week. The company defaulted on $157 million worth of loans and debts while trying to build the town, which for years saw only limited property sales. Liquidators removed about a third of this amount after selling the town's outstanding properties to Todd Property Group 3 years ago for $66 million. However, much of this went to the main overseas bank creditor, while other stakeholder companies involved in alcohol, legal, public relations, landscaping and real estate have been left out of pocket. The company behind Pegasus Town is Wanaka and Otago-based Infinity Group, which was headed by Bob Robertson, who passed away last year. Infinity also owned Ravenswood subdivision across the road from Pegasus and wants to sell that and move out of the Canterbury market. Despite high demand for properties in the Waimakariri following the earthquakes, Pegasus is still less than half capacity.
Well, in just over 6 months since it opened, the Christchurch Blood Bank has seen a steady stream of donors through its doors, but they still need more people. Chelsea Daniels explains.
World Blood Donor Day is this Sunday and the Christchurch Blood Centre had an open day today. The team offered tours around the new centre, which opened in November last year and has seen steady donations ever since.
The aim is to get them in here, have a look around our building in the hope that they feel inspired to become blood donors or to tell others to encourage other people to become blood donors.
On average, blood and blood products are used by 135 Kiwis every single day. For many, it quite simply means the difference between life and death.
Locally, we need 535 whole blood donors to come in here each and every week to donate blood. And plasma, we need 298 donors of them to come in so that we can meet the demand from the hospitals.
We spoke to Shane Matson, who was halfway through the process of donating plasma.
When I turned 16, I always wanted to donate. I just kept donating, and it's just that goodwill feeling, I guess, and doing some good. It doesn't cost anything, it only takes an hour of the time.
People donating plasma like Shane will expect to be on the bed for up to 1 hour and 20 minutes.
So we're taking the red blood, spinning it, returning the red blood and keeping the plasma, which is the yellow portion or the watery portion. Plasma is really important for us because we can make more products out of our plasma. It is a huge driver for us at the moment as well. So we can make up to 13 different products, and they're either kept here in New Zealand or sent over to Australia to be processed and sent back.
The new building has been a major help in the organisation and development of the centre.
Certainly our location is a lot better now. We have really good visual signage here, which is a real bonus. But the big thing is that it's a purpose-built building and it's large. We're 2.5 times bigger than where we used to be, and so we can accommodate more people here. So yes, it's given us a wonderful opportunity to showcase our new building in the hope that people give it some thought and come and roll their sleeves up.
New Zealand boasts the safest blood in the world, and there are rules to ensure it retains its high standard.
We do have rules about who can and can't donate blood. Those rules are set in place because our aim is to keep our product the safest it can possibly be, because on the receiving end of the product is already a terribly sick patient.
And what about those of us who are afraid of needles?
Donating blood is a pain-free process. The actual needle in the arm to get out 470 mils only takes 3 to 5 minutes. It's not our aim to get people to come in and donate blood necessarily on World Blood Donor Day. It's our aim that we sow the seed so that they will contemplate it and hopefully come through, make an appointment. So that is our aim. Please think about donating blood. Call 0800 Give Blood to make an appointment, or visit our website. It is a fantastic website and we have amazing stories, recipient stories on there, which hopefully will help people make that decision.
Chelsea Daniels, CTV News.
And still to come here on CTV News, your local sport and of course the all-important weather. And welcome back to CTV News, and now here is Gordon with a preview of the weekend sport action.
The Canterbury Rams return to Cal Stadium this Sunday, and after a defeat last weekend in Auckland, they need a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. With just 4 games remaining in their regular season, the Rams need to win all 4 to have a chance at making the finals. After a disappointing 105 to 70 point loss to the Rangers, coach Mark Dickel is looking for his side to turn up against the Nelson Giants this Sunday.
We've made it that situation, but look, basketball doesn't work like that. You know, you can't look any further ahead than your opponent you've got now. And for us, Nelson, they beat us easily when we played them up there. So we've got to prove to them that we can compete with them. So, you know, for us now, as much as anything, it's pride, man. We can't just we can't play like that. There's got to be more urgency from us.
It's a big week for basketball. On the other side of the globe, the NBA Finals are currently taking place between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Golden State Warriors. One man who will be watching with particular interest is Rams import Mikal Gladness. Gladness last played in the NBA for the Golden State Warriors, while he's also played with 3 current Cleveland players, including LeBron James, during his stint with the Miami Heat.
It's always been pretty bittersweet being on this side of the world and not where they are. But yeah, I mean, even before I made it to the NBA, it's still something that I love to watch, and it's basketball, and it's at the highest level. So yeah, I've been keeping up, and I haven't been really. I'm kind of split in between both teams, so I haven't really been rooting for anybody. Just really enjoying the game, enjoying the finals as it is as a whole.
Also on the international stage recently was Rams big man Sam Timmins, helping the New Zealand under-18 3-man side to a World Championship last weekend. It's the latest achievement for this young talent, one that he'll remember forever.
I've won national titles and stuff, but that was next level. Like, I've felt like pride and accomplishment before, but that was just a step up from anything, and it was just something that is going to be with me forever.
Taking on the likes of Spain and Germany to get to the final, Timmins and his teammates took great pride in representing their country.
We did the haka for the last day of the tournament, for the quarter, the semi and the final, and that was probably the most intense hakas I've been a part of ever. We were just so geared up for it, and just to get out there, and we really took care of business. Like the quarters and the semis, we did fairly easily, actually, just because we wanted it so bad. And Argentina was a close game. We only won that one by 2, but it was the same. We were just so amped, and we're just playing for our country, and it was indescribable.
After being away for the last 2 matches, Coach Dickel is happy to have Sam back in his lineup, with Timmins sure to be on a high.
I mean, he's a very confident guy anyhow. He kind of doesn't get too high or too low. I think that's what's going to stand him in good stead as he goes forward. And I know for Sam, he's just at the start of his journey. I mean, you don't really worry about that stuff until you're done playing, and then it's great. You know, I'm sure he thinks that that's just going to keep right on happening, and I really hope it does for him,
Sunday's match against the Giants gets underway at 2:30 from Cal Stadium, where coach Mark Dickel will be hoping for a polished performance. Gordon Findlater, CTV Sport. It will be the end of an era for the Crusaders tomorrow night, when a string of senior players, including Dan Carter, Richie McCaw, Colin Slade and Tom Taylor, turn out for the last time in red and black. With their playoff hopes over, the team will now look to send those playing their last Crusaders game off in style when they take on the Brumbies in Canberra. Kickoff is at 9:35. Football fans will get a chance to see the world's best young talent on Sunday when AMI Stadium hosts the quarter-final between Mali and Germany in the FIFA Under-20 Football World Cup. It's all on the line now, with the tournament reaching its final stages. Christchurch will also host one of the tournament semi-finals on Wednesday. And finally tonight, the UC Cup continues this weekend, with Christ College hosting Marlborough Boys on Saturday. Both sides sit mid-table, with Christ College needing a win to keep their playoff chances alive, while Marlborough could jump into the top 4 with a bonus point win. Kick-off tomorrow is at 12 p.m, with coverage of the match screening right here on CTV this Sunday at 12:30. You're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Findlater for CTV Sport.
Thanks, Gordon. Now time for the region's weather.
Good evening, Canterbury. Well, there was some mild temperatures throughout the region today, with some southwesterly winds coming in later on, which will be much cooler. But let's take a look at today's highs. Everyone here from Waimate up to Geraldine on 14 degrees. Twizel slightly cooler today on just 9. Let's take a look at mid-Canterbury now. Ashburton and Christchurch, you both shared 15 degrees today, and then sharing was caring too for Methven and Darfield, both on 13. Leaston and Akaroa, 14 degrees for you. North Canterbury now, mostly 14s and 15s here, 14 down in Oxford and Rangiora, as well as 15 degrees for Amberley, Colverton and Hamner Springs. Kaikoura, 14 for you as well. And for the other places here, 15 was the warmest place in the Alpine region for Arthur's Pass. Right, major centres now for tomorrow. Timaru, 12 degrees will be your high with some westerly winds. You will get some showers later on in the day, but there'll be mostly cloudy skies in the morning. Ashburton, very similar picture for you, but you'll be a little bit warmer on 13 and you'll have those northwesterly winds. Again, showers later on in the day. Christchurch, westerly winds for you also. You'll start with a low of 2 tomorrow and then 14 degrees will be your high. In Kaikoura, you'll escape some of those showers tomorrow. Just some cloudy skies, but you will have cooler southwesterly winds, but still manage to reach 14 degrees. Right, tomorrow's temperatures for the rest of the region now. 12 degrees for Waimate up to Geraldine, just 9 again for Twizel. We take a look now into mid-Canterbury. Mostly early teens here, and westerly winds all the way through. 12, and as we come further in, 13 degrees. Darfield, 14 will be your high tomorrow. North Canterbury now, here's this fantastic S-shape I was going to show you. 13 here from Oxford up to Amberley. Now the top there, 14 degrees for the rest of you with some southwesterly winds. Alpine region, 11 for both Mount Cook and Arthur's Pass. The upcoming days now for the major centres. Showers only for Timaru on Sunday, but there'll be some cooler temperatures, mainly in the early teens. 9 degrees for Timaru though, and southwesterly winds. As we flip to Monday, those showers will increase for Timaru, Ashburton and Christchurch. Again, those low temperatures of 10 and 11 and southwesterly winds. Other parts of the region now, a bit of rain down south, just a wee bit though, and then some cloudy skies all the way through and southwesterly winds right the way up to North Canterbury. As we flip over to Monday, mainly showery skies in South Canterbury with those southwesterly winds still hanging around, and then as we go further north, that cloud will make its way to the top of the region. So another few cooler days for the next few days. Enjoy the weekend while it lasts. Have a great Friday.
Thanks, Jared. Well, thank you so much for joining us for CTV News this week. Have a safe and happy weekend.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.